San Francisco and Murray State. I would have loved to see these two teams both play against a power conference team. They get matched up together. You can get Murray State now minus 1.5. The total sitting at 137.
Okay, so this game is the exception to my rule. I talk about whenever a sharp syndicate group comes in and bets a game, then the number's gone, so I can't play it anymore. Where I'm willing to go ahead and still back it is the movement through the zero. So Murray State starts out and they're +1. Now they're -1. All right. Game's not going to land on 0.
Right.
Not going to be a tie. And 1 is not nearly as common as 2. So all of a sudden, you know what? I think that was very sharp money on the racers. As long as I can lay 1 or less, that's the side I would look to, just reading the market. And let's face it, the early bettors, these are pros that are betting. The public hasn't gotten involved with this game yet, and they spoke very, very loudly that Murray State should be the chalk in this game.
So let's get to a philosophical question here, because right now I'm looking at the board. There are a lot of -1.5s out there, and then there are some picks at -115. Which one are you more likely to take?
All right, let's rank this. So -115 absolutely would be my first kick at the can. Okay. Then -1, lay $1.10 would be my second best bet. Then the third best bet would be -120. So then this makes sense. If the line's -1, lay $1.10, I'm never going to buy a half point down to -0.5, which is essentially the money line -120. Right. But I'll certainly buy a half point for 5 cents from -1, $1.10 down to -115. Then I guess the next question would be, would I rather lay -1.5, -110, or -125? And that one is too close to call. So in order,
because that's what you can get right now. That's what the money line price on those -1.5s is -125.
So in order, -115, -1 lay $1.10, -120, and then -1.5 lay $1.10 or -125. Flip a coin. They're pretty equal.
Although right now, so Bet Online still has -115 pick'em, and Circa has dropped from -1. Or excuse me, -1.5 to -1. So Circa, if you still like Murray State, Circa has a -1 there for you. So at -110. So into the actual game, Murray this season, and I've been high on this team. I love the way this team's built. They have had a huge athletic edge in the backcourt all season long. I don't know if it's as relevant here in this game, because San Francisco's got 2 excellent, incredibly fast guards in Jamari Bouye and Khalil Shabazz. But their big man, Masalski, has been out with a knee injury. And that not only does it matter a lot from a scoring perspective, offensive rebound perspective, shot blocking perspective, it matters for a lot of reasons. And Murray will take advantage of it if he's not out there at 100%. Murray is an excellent rebounding team, 11th nationally in offensive rebounding, and San Francisco just doesn't have great depth up front. So this is a team that has not lost since December 22nd. That was against Auburn. They hung with Auburn for most of that game. Granted, while the Ohio Valley is not the best conference, it's not a bad conference.
And Auburn was playing their best ball in December?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is when Auburn was coming from nowhere to becoming, a 1 seed, 2 seed, basically. That was part of their rise. But this team blew out Belmont twice. They beat Morehead State, who's another good OVC team. They not only handled the bottom of that bad OVC conference, but they handled the top. This is a legit team. And I think that they are, from a matchup standpoint, tough for the San Francisco team. They're switchable everywhere but the 5, and they're going to exploit you wherever you're weak. And I worry that while San Francisco was good all year, I worry from a San Francisco standpoint that every time they stepped up in class, they got beat. They went 0-5 in their conference against St. Mary's and Gonzaga, the 2 high-end teams in their conference. The only other team they played in the class of Murray is Loyola, who beat them by 5 as well. So the teams that they've stepped up to have handled them. I think that this Racers team is the real deal. I believe in them, especially in this game where I still think they have some athletic edges. I do think if Masalski's out, this is like best bet material for me. But obviously, that's something you won't know until matchups are announced. But whatever it is, the fact that he wasn't playing against, in the WCC tournament, even though San Francisco was by no means a lock to make the big tournament, the fact that he wasn't playing there tells me that this knee issue is rough.
That's a great point.
So I like Murray quite a bit here. In fact, Griffin has a take on this as well. So let's get to Griffin's take on this game.
The Murray State Racers, currently a 1.5 point favorite to San Francisco, and what should be maybe the game of Thursday night. This is a 8:40 Central start, and I'm really interested in the Murray State Racers at -1.5 and see them with a really nice opportunity to knock out Kentucky in their next one as well. I think from what I've seen from San Francisco, they're a good ball pressure defense, really from the backcourt. And Murray's got a lot of really good guards, and I don't know that there's going to be enough pressure there to really put them off. And really how San Francisco scores is they try to be bigger than you and try to get layups inside. I think Murray's got enough big players, big guys that are athletic, that are really going to put San Francisco in a tough position defensively. And that's going to then, I think, start working on their offense as well. I think Murray's one of the best teams in this tournament. I feel like a 7 seed is really underseeded. And unfortunately, I think both of these teams would have been teams that potentially look to back moving forward. But I think Murray just looks a little bit too short to me at the current -1.5.
So there you go. Griffin Warner also matching up with me on Murray State.
Consensus sharp on the Racers.
Well, there you go. Well, and you're sharps too. Everybody's sharp on them. Good. I like to hear it.